to animate the car moving forward using physics and limits to constraints so that the doors and tires roll or rotate in the right direction. So we have everything set up, just the tires are not rolling. And the reason for that is because if we look at our constraints, we have set them to a fixed type. That will just mean the object is welded onto the second object. But we want the hinge type that will allow motion or rotation in one single axis. So let's change the type to hinge. So the direction of our hinge is going to be determined by the z-axis. So if I hit play, you can see it's rotating around the z-axis. If I go to top, it's rotating around the x-axis in this direction. If you can see that, let me just go to the viewport here, which is usually faster. You can see how it's rolling. To make it rotate the way we want in this direction, excuse my drawing, we just have to rotate (90 degrees) on the Y so that it's pointing this direction. And now let's make sure that it is rolling. It should be rolling, it's just that we're not able to see that. So I'm going to just quickly edit this tire a bit and just let me extrude it. Add something like that to see how this is rolling. And you can see now that that tire is rolling. I'm just going to use Ctrl Z to undo that. And let's do the same thing for this. So this should roll in that direction. Same with this, roll on the Y, 90 degrees. Now, our car should roll. Yeah, if you look closely, you should see the tires rolling. It's really hard to see. So what I'm going to do is just select these tires, Ctrl L, and link them together so that they're sharing the same data. I'm going to use the link object data so that all the tires are the same instance. These two have been flipped, so I'm just going to unflip them, rotate them back. That way, if I make a change to one, let me just add a node here and create a new material, just a reddish material, assign that so that I have something to confirm that these are actually rolling back. And one other thing I need to do is this slope is just too much. So let's make it a bit, and I think it's too strong. So I'm going to do something like this, and can go to the materials. You can see that this is rolling, and maybe, okay, these ones are rolling. The back tires are not rolling because we didn't change the constraint type. So let's do that. Should be hinge, this should be hinge, and this should be hinge. That's why they were not rolling. Perfect. Exactly what we want. Now I can even unhide the ground, get rid of this, and yeah, it's rolling already. There isn't an easy way to animate this moving forward. So the easiest way to animate this moving forward, the car moving forward, is just add an object like a cube. Let me just scale it up. And I'm going to turn its visibility. Let me apply the scale first. I'm going to go to object data and change its visibility, its viewport display to wire so that I can see through it, just like that, and animate it forward. Let me just make sure it's the right scale. Animate it forward. Just like that, and give it a rigid body type. passive, animated. That way it can push the car forward. If I want this to accelerate, to move fast, I can just move these keyframes closer. And look at that. It's pushing this too much, and so the car is sliding. So another way we could animate this is, instead of making it push, we can just, let me delete these keyframes, and I can even make it a bit smaller. Just move it ahead, just like this, and create a constraint here. Let me add an empty. Let me this time use a cube, scale it down, and this constraint, let me give it a rigid body constraint. I'm going to give it a type point, attach the object, the main car, and this empty. That way I can animate this moving, pulling the car. And that's great. But you see, when this stops, the car doesn't continue. So I can just animate. Where is our, this is our constraint that is connecting the car to this. I can disable this at frame 11. That way the car continues with its momentum without being attached to this object. So I can have it enabled at frame 11 and disable it at frame 12. So now the car continues with the momentum we gave it. Now remember, we still have these other objects that are attached. So I can add a speed bump here. Let me just give this a rigid body, type passive, and just give it the same material. Look at that. I think that looks amazing. The other thing we could do is just change the constraint, these constraints that looks the bonnet and the boot, change them to hinge as well. Hinge, make sure the rotation is also correct for the hinge. And now we can see that they open. Perfect. Let me make this faster, run faster. Perfect. Perfect. Now we just need to change this to point. Now we want to actually, let it be hinge. Just make sure that our hinge rotation is correct. Yeah, now one issue we're running into is that, let's look at this from here. You see that this is opening into the car, which is not what we want. So the hinge is rotating in the right direction, but we need to limit the rotation so that it goes out. It can only go out and can't go in. So there is a setting for that in these constraint settings, and that's the limit. We can limit the angle. So let's activate this, and we just have to play with the different axes. So let's say this is set to 0. Still going in. Let's say it is set to 35. Okay, that means it's getting pushed in. That's pushed in. Let's say maybe should be in negatives. Yeah, it seems when these are negative values, we are able to limit. Now let's do 90 for this. And just to make sure that this is, we can test this correctly, I'm going to add a cube so that this collides with that cube and bounce and basically pivots. I think it should be around here. Yeah, give it a rigid body, passive, perfect. Though I think this is too fast, so let me slow it down and I remove the hump. Maybe make it faster. Okay, this door is still going in. So because it's hard to figure out the right axis, I'm going to set this to 0, 0, which will limit all the rotation. Now I can allow 45 in the upper. So that pushes that in. So that means it should be the lower 45 and see, let's see, still going in, let's say negative 45, negative 45. Yeah, so it's allowing from 0 to negative 45, so we can do 100, negative 180. So that means the negative is likely the rotation in this direction. Yeah, so it's exactly what we want. We can also see the same issue with this. So that can be our challenge. Add the same limits to these so that you limit the angle of rotation for this bonnet and this boot. Take a few seconds to try that and I'll see you in the next lesson where we can do it together.